Did you catch Raw last night? I sure did, and it was a good one. My name is Jacoby. Let's get into the wet cap recap. Roman Reigns has beef with Jacob Fatu, so he pulls up and he's on a mission. But Adam Pearce says, "Hey, dude, don't even, you can't open Raw. Jacob's not even here, so there's no point." He gets to the ramp and Seth is there. Seth Rollins is standing there and he says, "You're in my way." So Seth starts walking down the ramp to open Raw, and Braun Breaker attacks him. Security can't even keep Braun off of Seth, man. Cut to the Judgment Day clubhouse. Everyone is pressing Roxanne really weird about Finn, and they're talking to her all weird, like she's in a cult. Real weird vibes there. The Judgment Day just doesn't know if Roxanne's going to be loyal. So in the match, JD versus Finn, she gets a hammer, and she bashes Finn. She has picked a side. Obviously, JD wins after Finn is incapacitated by the hammer. Seth Rollins does a backstage interview where he says, "Braun, I'm not dead yet." At the Visions clubhouse, Paul Heyman comes up and says, "Hey, Braun Breaker, is Seth still breathing?" No answer. Then Logan Paul says, "I really got to handle Joe Hendry. I really need to fight him. He can't fire me. I'm sick of these songs." So Austin Theory is going to handle Joe Hendry tonight. We get Penta and Javon Evans versus Rusev and Ethan Page. This is a 10 out of 10 fire match. Javon Evans is absolutely on fire, and Ethan Page and Rusev win. Cut to Solruka's contract signing with Adam Pearce, and Becky Lynch comes out. She's the man. She was told that this is her time to celebrate. Actually, it's Solruka's contract signing. Solruka calls Becky a rude, big-headed bitch, and Becky tries to punch her. Sol dodges, and she hits Pearce in the face. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. Now we have Joe Hendry versus Austin Theory with Logan Paul. This match ends in a DQ. Logan Paul gets all fed up. Can we fire Logan Paul? Anyways, the Street Profits come out to, help bail out Joe Hendry. Then Braun Breaker comes out to bail out the Vision. And then Seth Rollins comes out to just beat up Braun Breaker. But in the end, Braun Breaker is the only one standing here. So we got a little setup for Backlash, him and Seth, you know what I mean? Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez from the Judgment Day are after Tag Gold. Paige and Bella better watch their backs. Lyra and Bailey come up to bully the Judgment Day. It just kind of comes off as goofy, though. Obafemi has a match against the Alpha Academy. Tozawa, little guy, comes out and he changes his mind, so he tags in Otis. Otis fights this match for him. Awesome squash match. I didn't know Otis could be thrown that far or even picked up like that. Obafemi's impressive. The Street Profits and Joe Hendry are hanging out after, the whole tussle thing debacle out there, and Seth is losing his mind, like, "Okay, fine, I'll do my thing if you guys just do your thing." And they're like, "Okay, sure, Seth, yeah." Okay, a little prep for the Mask v Mask match. El Grande OG and El Grande Americano are going to have a Mask v Mask match later on. So right now, they have a trios match, 3v3, El Grande and Los Americanos versus OG Americano with Los Hermanos Americanos, Bruto y Julio Credo. Essentially, we just have American-made in masks versus Los Americanos and El Grande. American-made wins. It's good to see them back, finally. The OTC and Jacob Fatu have their contract signing. Roman Reigns basically says, "You're desperate, you're messing up the family, blah, blah, blah. Jacob, you're ruining everything." And Jacob goes, "Yeah, I am desperate. I'm trying to feed my family." And then he Tongan death grips him and puts him through the table, and we'll get that wrapped up at Backlash. Everything's going to be wrapped up nice and neat at Backlash. Thanks for watching the Wet Cap Recap. What did I miss? I'll be back for NXT, and I'll see you at Backlash. Thanks for watching. Yo, what up? My name's Jacoby. I watched NXT last night, and it went crazy, just like every week. Let's get into the Wet Cap Recap. Tony D'Angelo, the NXT champion, is going on the offensive, and he takes out Tavion Heights before the show even starts. Jada Parker and Callie Armstrong, they have a good match, but Callie is just a little bit faster and a little bit stronger. Later on in the night, Natalya runs into Jada and says, "You've gone soft, haven't you?" Tony D'Angelo tells Robert Stone that he is getting Tavion Heights tonight, so they will have a match tonight after their backstage brawl. The Birthright has been dropping the ball, and they're in trouble from daddies. They get Skyped and told off over the phone, so they have to be on their best behavior to not lose their little position they have themselves in. Now, Roku, that guy that's been giving Tony D'Angelo a bunch of gifts, he debuts next week, so Tony's going to have another guy on his back. Jasper Troy loses his match against the Vanity Project. Jasper Troy, the big man, he should have had it all wrapped up, but Jackson Drake's old date from the other week, Michael Lockwood, comes in and just slams Jasper Troy and saves the day. So the Vanity Project pull out a win. Hey, you. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Cam Hendricks, that behemoth of a man that keeps sneak attacking people, He sneak attacks Tony D and puts his head through a wall, so the his match gets delayed a little bit, just a little. What was supposed to be our main event is Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana versus The Culling, Nico Vance and Izzy Dame. Tony D'Angelo's match was supposed to be in the slot, but they had to rearrange things because his head got put through a wall. During this match, Mr. Iguana's Lizard, Ioesca, gets a 1 count. Nico Vance grabs the ref's arm as he's counting and says, "No, you're not counting to 3. Eventually, The Culling does end up pulling this one out and winning the match. All right, now we have Dark State. We got Osiris and Cutler James versus Hank and Tank, okay? Dion and Sugar are outside running, backup, and at some point, Sugar grabs a chair, like Dion did the other week, and Dion loses his mind. Like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh! You can't do that if I can't do that! But Dark State does win, so that gets them a little bit further in the tag title contenders. There's a weird little segment where Booker T and Vic Joseph, they don't have any audio coming out of their mics, and later on it's revealed that obviously that was a Danhausen curse. Booker T should have been his teammate. So I'm sure we're going to have a bunch of other Danhausen curse hijinks from that. Now for the main event that wasn't supposed to be the main event, we have Tavion Heights versus Tony D'Angelo. Cam Hendricks, who's not supposed to be in the building anymore, comes out and distracts everyone, and then Miles Bourne comes out because him and Tavion are boys. Miles takes out Cam Hendricks, but in all the confusion, Tony D pins Tavion Heights, so Tony D's still our boy. Immediately after the match is over, though, Will Cruz comes out and takes out Tavion and Tony and announces that he's here. That was NXT. Awesome show, just like always. I'm actually going to be at NXT Live on the 16th up in Canton. I don't know if anyone's going to be there. I don't know. Hit me up. Don't forget to like, share, repost, follow. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Hey, did you guys catch Smackdown the other night? I for sure did. My name's Noah.
And I'm Jacoby. Welcome to the Whitecap Recap. Jacob Fatu opens up our show, and he is sick of Romans. Roman was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Yarda mean.
And then the Usos interrupt him and say, Jacob, what are you going to do when you lose? He's going to embarrass you in front of your whole family. And then you're going to be forced to have to acknowledge him. Shit like that, I don't know.
Jacob is not going to lose this match. He's doing it for his family. And if the Usos interfere, he's going to burn down the family tree.
And Kathy Kelly is interviewing Nick Aldis. And she asks him, why is Gunther here on SmackDown? He's on Raw. And Nick says, for now. Who the hell is Gunther? Is he the penguin from Adventure Time?
Ricky Saints tells Nick Aldis, hey, what's up with me going up against QB4? I was just going up against QB1. And that's when Matt Cardona comes up and goes, oh, I'm QB4? Rookie Saints? We'll see about that later tonight. Royce Keys and Jacob Fatu are hanging out. They're hyping each other up. You know what they do. They take what they want. Right after that, that's when Solo Sikoa comes up and he says, hey, you should join the family tree again. You know what I mean? All right, so the U.S. champion Tiffany Stratton successfully defends her belt. She's accompanied by...
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello?
This is Chelsea. I can't come in today. I'm sick. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. She goes up against Kiana James with Julia. Kiana ends up throwing the match for Julia. Not cool. All right, Sami Zayn is at the viewing for the Gingerbread Man. It's a little weird because, without Sami Zayn, there would be no Gingerbread Man viewing.
Then R-Truth walks up and says to Zayn, I can see the resemblance between you and Gingerbread Man.
And Sami crashes out.
I shouldn't have called him Zayn, should I?
Rhea Ripley thinks that Fatal Influence is acting a little bit big for their britches, and she wants to get her hands on them. But Charlotte wants to remind her that we're a team tonight, so we're going to get our hands on them, right? So we already have some bickering between the two queens. All right, backstage, Damian Priest and R-Truth, the tag champions, are talking, and Damian does not want R-Truth to come out and help him out with this match. Damian has something to prove. So Damian goes out to fight Kalatonga, accompanied by the entire MFT, and of course the MFT gets involved. So R-Truth has to come out and back up Damian Priest, even though that's not what he wanted. And then Damian gets all distracted, like, go back inside, R-Truth, you're old, oh my gosh. And then he takes the final blow, and he loses the match right there. But then Royce Keys shows up and defends both of them, which is weird because, he's supposed to be joining my family tree. Apparently not.
No, sir. Preparation for his tag team match against The Miz and Kit Wilson, Danhausen has a sign-up sheet made so that he can try and find a new tag team partner.
That's when The Miz and Kit Wilson come up and they say, the only one toxic enough to tag with you is you. That's a great idea. Nick Aldis gives Paul Heyman the contract for Cody Rhodes versus Gunther at Clash in Italy. Right about then, that's when Cody Rhodes comes out of the stage and is interrupting Gunther's TV time, and Gunther is not happy about that. Cody comes out to say, "Hey Gunther, we're both here. How about you fight me?" And Gunther does not like that, so he goes out and attacks Cody. But Cody is able to defend himself. He's easy to find, hard to beat. Matt Cardona versus Ricky Saints. Well, Ricky's coming out. He's got his hand out, and he pulls a high five on a fan because he's a menace. In the match, Matt Cardona is winning, but in the end, Ricky Saints hits a Rochambeau and wins the match. He is at the viewing for Gingy, and he's just complaining about everything that's going on to Johnny Wrestling. He calls him Johnny Wrestling, and he sits up for a second. He tries to get everyone, but he lays back down. Nothing ever happened. Whatever. And then he runs into Ray Phoenix at the viewing, and he loses it. His friends should not be at this event that is made to just mock him. Team champs Brie Bella and Paige are walking backstage, and a ladder almost falls on them, but it's okay. They survive that. Then they go out to address the crowd, and they go, "Oh my gosh, we're the champs, yippee!" And that's when Fatal Influence comes out and says, "Watch how a real team does it." And then the Irresistible Forces come out, and they show them how a real team does it, and they take out the champs and call Fatal Influence a knockoff Mean Girls. Watch out, JC. Please watch out.
Girl. Hey, you. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, comment, send this to any wrestlers, wrestling fans, non-wrestling fans like myself. Just get it out there and enjoy the content.
Sure. Rhea Ripley shows up for her match with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, her teammates, going against Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, Lainey Reed, and JC Jane. All right, we've got a great match. Rhea cleans house against all three of them. Charlotte chops them all. It's awesome. But Jade Cargill shows up and changes everything. Once Jade shows up, JC wins the match. Then B-Fab and Meechin show up, and B-Fab, Meechin, and Jade win. Just threaten Royce Keys to stay out of this. This is family business, all right? As his match against Tama Tonga, Tala Tonga and Solo Sikoa are there watching. Surprisingly, no interference on the match. Royce Keys wins. Danhausen is doing a little bit of cloning for his tag match. Very nice, very evil. Nakamura really wants Tama Tonga to find himself and quit working with Solo Sikoa. Trick Williams is at the Gingerbread Man's funeral. You know how it is. The choir's singing. Trick does a little rap. It's beautiful. Sammy hates it, though, so he has to show up and ruin all of it. So he takes out Trick Williams.
The camera pans behind Sami Zayn. The Gingerbread Man arises from his casket, and then he pulls out a candy cane staff, smashes it into the back of Sami Zayn, and then lifts off his mask to reveal it's a little yachty under that mask. And then Trick gets up, hits his signature trick shot, which I'm very familiar with as a big fan, and knocks out Sami Zayn to finish him off for disrespecting the funeral.
That was Smackdown. Can you believe it?
I know I can't. I never watched the show. I can't believe anything.
You ready for Backlash?
What's Backlash? Oh, no.